the board.
Mr. Ryan?
Or
Oh,
actually,
yeah, two, and, yep, okay, yes,
Amber's not there. So.
yes.
All right, good evening. We're going to call the meeting to order. This is the Town of Victor Zoning Board of Appeals. Today is June 15th. It is 7 a.m. If you'll join me for the pledge, we'll get started. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, nation under God. All right, thank you. A few housekeeping matters. So you'll note the emergency exits are off to the side. Restrooms are out in the back. If you haven't done so already, please sign the attendance sheet. There's also proposed resolutions that are in the back, along with business cards and email addresses for the planning department. If you haven't done so already, either please turn off or silence your cell phones. And seeing this is the only application, I'll say it anyway. If there's conversations that don't directly relate to the application, please take it out back. So, some other housekeeping matters that the board appreciates as a whole, that if there are exhibits that you want to refer to, just ask us and Susie will pop them up. And there is a laser pointer, and you can use the laser pointer to point to which you'd like. As far as new exhibits, if you have new exhibits, let us know that they're new so that we can mark them accordingly and put them in the record. The other part that we would appreciate is when you're using an exhibit, do your best to use descriptive language, because we're recording, we're creating minutes, and it doesn't translate well if you say something like, well, if you notice over here and notice over there, and you read it, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So use compass directions, structures, any kind of numbers, whether it be houses, whatever. The more descriptive you can be, the better. The other thing we appreciate is, as far as interruptions go, we will ask questions, we'll wait for your response. If we're talking over each other, multiple people are talking at the same time, it doesn't, again, translate well for minutes. We'll be patient with you, wait for you to stop speaking. We'd appreciate, again, vice versa. And we'll take questions. So the first piece that we'd like to take care of is the June 12th, first, little typo, June 1st, thank you. Minutes. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to review. If there are questions, comments, let me know. Otherwise, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Make a motion?
Second. Thank you, Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thanks. All right, Fairways has been tabled, so we're on to Hogan. Deborah Hogan, come on up. Tell us about your application.
Well, you have all of my paperwork. I do not have any additional exhibits. But I live on Sour Farms Drive, which is in R1 residential street. And directly on the back of my property, right beyond my property, the Morel brothers got approved a PDD, and they are putting in townhouses and apartment buildings onto that site. The closest townhouse is 105 feet from my property line. Everything else is much further away. But unfortunately, two things happened. One was that when Morel originally proposed the townhouses, they were supposed to be rentals. And they came to the planning board. I've been to all the planning board meetings as well. They came to the planning board and they said, we are going to be charging a maintenance fee, and we do not want to have a lot of lawn or space behind those townhomes because we don't really want to maintain it. I actually walked the property with Jeff Morel, and he said, took me along the back of my property and behind where the townhouses were going to be, and he said, we are going to leave as many trees as we possibly can, so it's less for us to maintain. Unfortunately, when they went in, they just clear cut the entire property, and all those trees are gone. And on top of it, he also told me, and I think he would stand by this, that they were going to landscape behind all of those townhouses. And if it wasn't satisfactory to me, I could request that they would put some additional trees on my property. And it turns out, because of the way they scraped the land and put the townhouses, and there's actually, my neighbor's here, and she can tell you too, because she's not happy. They put these gullies in and they filled them with stone. There is nowhere to put landscaping behind the townhomes. So now it's up to me, and my house sits, I'm going to say, 2 or 3 feet higher than, there's a gully, and then you go up the gully, and that's where the townhouses are. So when I'm sitting on the back of my house are all of my primary rooms, my kitchen living room, my master bedroom, my sunroom. They all face those townhouses. And unfortunately now, when I'm sitting there, I am looking right down into the townhomes. And I can see people moving in there. They can see me. And so I feel like the builder should have done more, but I'm not here to complain about that. I have decided that what I would like to do is put up a fence, a privacy fence, and that will block me from looking at the neighbors. It's also to their advantage because frankly, they won't be looking into my house either. So 6 feet is not quite tall enough. I know that's the standard residential fence, but I am requesting 8 feet, and I don't think there's any reason that there would be a problem. Because first of all, it's 105 feet from the back of my property to the townhouses, so it's not a residential situation where I'm putting a fence right next to my neighbor, and I can understand how 8 feet would be prohibitive. So it's really not in anyone's way. It's the solution I came up with, and I don't know if you have any questions, I guess. The other thing I will say is I live at the end of the cul-de-sac, so other than my neighbor who's here, none of my other neighbors will even be able to see this fence. None of the residential neighbors on my street.
Okay, thank you. So let's talk a little bit about the conversations you had with Morel. The difficulty as far as conversations and when Morels aren't here or there isn't anything in writing or we don't have minutes to say that this is, it's really is called hearsay.
Yes.
So it's irrelevant, it's admissible. I hear what you're saying. The important pieces are, and Susie, if you could load up the criteria. Okay, so this is what the zoning board looks at, and as we're going through it, we'll look at each one of them.
Yes.
Let me jump down to 5 real quick. The difficulty is whether it's self-created or not. Most of the time, when somebody's asking for something, it's self-created. It's
Right.
not a huge, like say, a tipping point of losing, if you will, the variance. The other 4 are far more important, and it's a balancing effort. So when we're asking questions about, is it going to change the character of the neighborhood? So you pointing out that you're the only one that is likely going to see that fence, along with your neighbors in the development that you're having some issue with. Other than that, the rest of the community is unlikely going to see it. Can you achieve that by some other means? Well, you have a 6-foot fence. Is it going to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? You've pointed out that due to the elevation of your home, that a 6-foot fence is, you're still going to see that development that you'd rather not see. So that's important. Is it substantial? Well, you know, from 6 to 8 feet, we can talk about that. But I think you see where we're going with this. So those are the kind of questions we're going to ask.
Right.
Okay?
Sure.
So just because sometimes, especially, I don't know how many times you've seen this before, it's helpful for an applicant that hasn't seen it. We walk through this a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's fine, and I looked at all of that ahead of time, so
Super.
I'm
Okay.
prepared to talk about any or all of it.
All right. Matt, have questions?
So you built the house?
Yes,
Okay. So you've been there 10 years,
yes,
seen no need for a fence. Morel Builders built the property next door, and because of what they built, now you need the fence.
now it's an issue, yes.
Okay, if Morel had been there, say, 20 years, and then you built your house, would you have designed it differently than what you did, just so it didn't face the townhomes?
Well, two things I think I would have. One is I worked with an architect, I designed my own house. And certainly I would have asked him to help me deal with that situation if those townhomes were there. I don't know if that means moving rooms to a different visibility. I'm not quite sure what I would have done. The other thing is, yeah, you can tell I am not a junior citizen here. 10 years ago, I might have approached the Morels, and when I did talk to them, I said, we're going to need a minimum of 6-foot trees to deal with this problem. And so 10 years ago, and actually if you come to my property and look along the driveway and along the front, I did plant trees back then to, again, give me privacy. All those trees are way high now. They would have completely obliterated the issue by this time. So maybe I would have chosen a different solution. And I can tell you, I've driven into that Morel property now where they have landscaped, and they've put in little pine trees that are about this big, 2 feet high. So I will never, if they put that on my property, if they came tomorrow and said, oh, let us take care of this and we'll put these little 2 feet pine trees on there, I'll never live to have the privacy that I want.
Okay. Besides that, I don't have any other questions. I was able to stop out there prior to. I didn't walk into your backyard, but I pulled into the turnaround that's in front of your house and walked like 15 feet just past the pine trees that are in front. And I was able to, I understand what you were saying, because I was able to see like 2 townhomes even being like 50 feet in front of your house.
Yes,
Okay. Besides that,
Yes.
I have no other
thank you.
questions.
Chris, questions, comments?
No, I just, on the pictures where you have current pictures, and that looks like it was either in the spring or in the fall.
It was in the spring,
Yeah, so.
because they just started building, frankly. The
Yes.
first townhomes have just gone up, I think they started in December.
Right. I'm familiar with that. So 2 times a year, it's going to be no vegetation, anything.
Correct.
So I was there today, and I went from the street, and I went around through the new construction there.
Right.
And I can see what you're saying.
Yes.
What's that? Leah, questions, comments?
I understand and appreciate what you're saying, that trees do take some time to grow tall. But, I get 100% what you're saying and your reasons. But also, I agree. I think the fence is a good idea. But also, I think planting trees is also good, because that'll also block out any noise as well. Because fences, they'll block out the view, but they don't block out the noise.
Yeah.
And I've seen that, firsthand as well.
So in the renderings that I provided to you, it shows that there's going to be landscaping on my side of the fence, and I do intend to put some trees and those kind of things in there. I just need for the fence to go up. No, maybe I didn't provide you with the renderings.
Oh, I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, I don't think, the contractor just provided those to me. But basically, what I intend to do is landscape it. Well, if those of you who've been out at my house, you could see like around all my perennial gardens, around my trees in the front, there's a stone edging that I put in with the trees with mulching. And I intend to do the same thing on the property in the front, but I need to get the fence up to see exactly what I'm dealing with.
And you have, once you would put that fence up, there is enough room to put some trees or.
There's plenty of
or
room.
Tall bushes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm cutting into my own property when I do that, but that's okay, because I don't want just a plain fence.
Yeah.
That's not really how the design of my house is. I'm pretty heavily landscaped with perennials and trees and those kind of things, and I want to continue that look in the back.
Yeah. How many acres is your property?
I believe it's 1.73, but part of that, I own all the way out to the street, and part of that has been declared a conservation area, so that, things can't be built on it.
I think once you do plant some trees, you'll be surprised, some of them do grow quicker than you think as well. But, yeah, and then you said you have the one neighbor here, so, we'll hear from her later as
Yeah.
well. And you said the other neighbors, they're not affected by this fence, and they won't see
They will
it.
not even be able to see it.
Any of the other neighbors, do they see at all that townhouse complex? Just the one neighbor? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Larry?
You said the townhouse is 105 feet from your property line? How far is it away from your house?
Probably 150 feet, maybe?
When you contacted the Morels about putting up or doing what they said they would do, what did they say?
Didn't quite go like that. So they started building, and then I was like, oh, this is not good. So I sent both of the Morel brothers a message and said, as you recall, we talked about putting trees either behind the townhouses or my house, and you said you would do that. However, after the situation that I'm now looking at, which is different, I have decided that I would like to put a fence up instead and landscape around it. And Jeff Morel and I said, if you could provide me, and they weren't able to, but at the time that they came to the planning board, they put up one of those, what do you call them? The gadgets that can, cameras. And they recorded all the lines of sight from where the top of the apartments were going to be, which is another whole concern we haven't even talked about. And I asked them for copies of that because it clearly showed at that point in time that you were going to be able to see into my house and from my house to theirs. And they had assured me, well, we're going to put trees and landscaping back there. So when I sent this request, which was about a month ago, Jeff came back and he did not disagree that they would do something if they had to, but he said, I think a fence is appropriate and should work well for all of us.
All right, we really shouldn't be diving into conversations that happen. It's irrelevant. It's inadmissible. It's hearsay. Unless she can show that these conversations took,
What I was trying to get at was when she went back and asked them to fix what they'd originally said they were going to do, what did they say? And basically what she's saying is, hey, we think your fence is the right idea. That's relevant to what we're talking about here, is the
Okay.
fence, as opposed to if the Morels would have sat there and said, hey, we'll put trees up on our side, so that's an entirely different thing than having her having to put a fence up.
all right, I hear you. Let's just not go too deep into
Oh, no,
conversations.
that's all I wanted to.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
great.
that's as far as I wanted to
All
go
right, good.
with that.
And all I can say is, I don't think the fence will disturb their development. It certainly would help me, and I'm sure they were in favor of it because there's no cost to them. I'm paying the boatload of putting the fence up, which in a way isn't fair, but I'm not going to fight with the Morels over that.
Are the houses in their development on the same level as yours, as your house?
No,
You're higher.
I'm higher.
What are you going to avoid seeing?
So the way those townhomes are built, they are all one-story townhomes. And this is another thing that caught me by surprise, but, so the fence will block that whole first story of those townhomes and will block my first story of my house. The second story of my house will have the same issue that I have from the ground floor. I will be looking down into their townhouses, and they will be able to look up into my upstairs. I am less concerned about that for two reasons. One is that on the upstairs, the bedrooms are facing the front of the house. They're not looking out on those townhomes. And the room that is looking out on the townhomes is a bonus room that I use for my crafting. So, it's not a concern. I'm not asking you to build a 20-foot fence, which is probably what I would need if I wanted to totally block everything out. I'm just mostly concerned with my first floor.
Are you mostly concerned about the winter and spring?
Yes, so what I can say to you, because I looked at this, is the trees, if you go over there now, it looks great, right? It's all filled in, I can't see anything. It was May 15th before that occurred, and last year, the trees lost all of their leaves by October. So May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months. That means there's going to be 6 months when it's absolutely bare and you can see everything. And again, I'm sure my neighbor will talk to you, they have the same issue. Because there aren't any evergreens or anything back there. They're all maple trees and things that drop their leaves.
If they put a 6-foot fence up on their side, would that resolve the problem?
I don't know, what do you think, Liz?
No.
Oh,
You two talk, and we'll ask you your thoughts on it in a second, all right?
I don't know, I'd really have to go and,
I'm guessing not, because if you're
I'm guessing
higher
not,
because there's 6. Okay.
I'm guessing
All the
not.
questions I have.
I'm guessing not, but, you know, I'm not an expert. If you really wanted me to go, I would go behind their townhouses and look at what 6 feet looks like, and then look at my property.
Thank you for answering.
Okay. I'm trying my best to,
No, you did. You
did
You're
fine.
fine. So there is Suzie, what I'd like to see, there's the buffering line. I know it's small, but there is
25 feet.
no, it's not, it's a building buffer. There's 2 lines. Go back. So there's 2 lines here. There's a 25-foot setback, but then there's a line, right, dotted line. If you look at that one, it's a building buffer. So structures cannot go 100 feet towards your home, your property line. But within there, they can plant, they can do whatever they like. And I think what you're saying, if I understand correctly, is it's not that the building's there, it's that the vegetation has since been removed.
and if I may add to that.
Go ahead.
So what they did was they decided to make these townhomes, which again, I wasn't aware of, so that there's a walkout basement. And when they put the walkout basement in, the walkout basement, you just have to go look at it. There's a gully right next to those townhomes, and they filled those gullies with stone, with rocks. So so it goes townhome, gully, rocks, and then it starts to come up, and then there's my property. And right by my property, there are, as you said, a buffer zone of trees, but they're not, evergreen trees.
Right. So I think what a topo map, a topographical map will show the elevations of where everything is. Considering where your property is, I don't think we have to quite go that far. It's like driving in your neighborhood, driving in the other neighborhood. You can get a
Yeah.
good visual.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your candor with, is a 6-foot fence really going to solve what you're after? Is an 8-foot fence? Maybe, maybe not. But the location of what kind of impact, let's say a negative impact to the community, the character of the neighborhood, what's it going to have? You're going to see it. I think your neighbor's going to say, yeah, we probably can see the fence. You can see that. Beyond that, there's the other townhomes, you're going to be able to see the fence. But it's such a small amount of people who are going to see it. Is it really going to have a negative impact to the community? In my opinion, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. And like I said, if it was residential against residential, I would not even ask for this because I don't think that would be right. But we're talking about the back of my property, and from the back of my property to the gully is 105 feet is the closest. I mean, even if those people look up, yes, they will see a fence, but they're not gonna, I mean,
Right,
it's
so-
not like it's on their property or in their way.
So you are 63-some feet, 63.3 feet from your property line, if I got this survey map right.
Okay,
And you're another, from the property line to the structure, to the townhome, I think there's a foundation going in, has to be at least 100.
105, I believe.
Okay. So you're already 100 plus 60 feet from your home to where that townhome is going.
Right.
Where is the fence going to go in relation to, how close is it to your property line?
I would say within a foot or 2 foot of my property line.
Okay.
I mean, I've had landscapers fencing people out to look at the project, and we haven't nailed exactly where it would go because I wanted to see if I could get the variance before I went further.
So it's important that an applicant understands if the board grants your variance, the variance what's called runs with the land. So whether you own the home for, you own the home for a day, 10 years, whenever it is that the house passes to somebody else, that variance stays with the land, it doesn't stay with you. Right, makes sense?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes.
So
Understand.
the location of it is important, especially since you're so close to the lot line. If you're over onto Morel's, whoever property that is, there's going to be a problem. So use caution where that goes.
Yes, and the the fence person that I've planned to hire, he's been out and looked at that, and one of the things, the first things he said was, he has an instrument survey, he will mark it to make sure it's on my property, and if there's any, I don't know, thing he needs to do with the town of Victor, he'll do that.
It'll be verified through the permitting process to a standard for fences, so
Okay,
if it's over the property line, we'll probably be requiring you to move it.
whatever, it's, I understand it's my responsibility, but it's also beyond what I can tell you right now.
All right. Anything else you want to add for now?
Oh, any other questions?
We might.
Okay.
Does anyone want to speak for or against the application? I think we have somebody that wants to speak.
Well, she's probably going to tell you, she just moved here from California. And I feel bad for her because the real estate people never told her that this was going to happen.
Right,
So it's been a big surprise. So she's probably going to tell you a few more issues that she has.
And you are?
I'm Elizabeth Seaver,
Okay.
and I own the home next door to Deborah, which is 590 Sorrow Farms Drive. There's a couple of things. We've owned the home since 2022. We paid our taxes and received mail from Victor, yet we never received any notification of anything being built.
What being built?
You know, the townhomes that are being built. We never received anything, there's been meetings, like this meeting, where we should have received something saying that this was going to happen, and we never did.
How long have you lived in the home?
We have owned the home since April 15th of 2022.
Okay. So I do know that, yeah, I'd have to check the years, but they send the postcard out for the new application only, so it's only in the beginning. So if the process takes 4 years for approval, the postcard goes out once. Now, when they came back for the subdivision, because it was, as Ms. Hogan said, gonna be rental, they had to come back to do a subdivision when they wanted to sell the individual lots. But that may have happened prior to the date that you own the home. So that postcard may have been received by the previous owner. We can look into that. for you.
Could you look into that?
Yep.
Because it's interesting. I just am kind of, concerned with that. I really hope that you approve Deborah's fence, because it's going to help my property too, because I now, I have conservation land behind me, so I have deciduous trees. I do see these neighbors in the winter, no matter what, fence or no fence. I'm still going to see them because I look through on an angle, because my home's slightly angled. But the fence would really help, and we are going to, try and do some things ourselves too. We can't touch the conservation land. It would be greatly appreciated if there was something brought up with that group of people. I'm sorry, I don't know the names of the builders, the Morels. It would be greatly appreciated if they could do something to, instead of filling white rock against the trees, maybe planting other trees. It's just gullies of white rock. So I have concerns with that too. And eventually, I guess, I need to find out how to work with this board to find out if there'd been a population density study with those apartments going in. Because there's only one entrance and exit. And there's no fire break, no firewalls. So I have concerns for those apartments and the people that'll end up living in them. As far as Deborah's fence, though, I'm a really happy neighbor. I really hope you approve it. It's going to be beautiful. She's going to put landscaping in front of it. I've looked at basically where she's putting it. There's a small row of trees that are deciduous that would be facing the townhomes. She's putting it in front of the trees on her property. So the townhomes will actually still see the trees. And I think that's about all I have to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before you leave,
Oh, yes.
have you considered extending the fence to your side of the,
Why would I? I've got the trees behind me.
okay.
Yeah, see, I have trees, so I don't want to extend the fence because then I just don't have my pretty trees that I wake up to.
Got it. Thank you.
Although I have thought about putting deciduous into the evergreens into the conservation area at my own expense. Just
Right. Anyone else want to speak for or against the application? All right. We have any other questions for the applicant? Larry,
I do not.
you're good? Good?
What's that?
Good, we're all set. Okay, good. Just check. Good, okay, no comments. Super. Anything else you want to add? Nope. Okay, so we're going to run through the criteria then. All right. First, an undesirable change would not be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties created by the granting of the area variance. Justification being the proposed 8-foot fence, the visual is going to be limited to certainly the applicant, the neighbor that's in favor of the fence, and arguably a few of the townhomes in the Highline Trail development. Beyond that, the rest of the neighborhood is unlikely going to see this, so it shouldn't have any kind of detriment to nearby properties. Also, due to the elevation of the applicant's property and home being higher than the townhome development, the 6-foot fence is unlikely to produce a positive impact for the neighbor, for the applicant. An 8-foot fence would more likely accomplish what she's trying to accomplish, as well as the developer, for whatever reason, took a number of trees down, which creates visual from the applicant to the Highline Trail development. Would anyone like to add anything to the first justification? Second, the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. The applicant indicated that, again, as we stated, for the first set of, for the first criteria, the other option potentially could be was for the applicant to plant vegetation, but the amount of time it would take to produce a visual barrier would be years and years, and the 8-foot fence at the applicant's expense will accomplish it sooner rather than later. Would anyone like to add anything for the second criteria? Third, the requested area variance is not substantial. Although a 6-foot fence is permitted, an 8-foot fence arguably is not substantial, as well as what we stated for the first criteria, that very few neighbors are going to see the fence. Would anyone like to add anything else or comment for the third criteria? Fourth, the proposed variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district. The fence alone, we haven't heard anything that it's going to create any kind of adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. In fact, the applicant has indicated that they will be planting more vegetation to enhance the property. Would anyone like to add anything for the fourth criteria? Fifth, go ahead.
Yeah, well, with respect to the impact on the physical condition, the fence will be at the rear of both properties, the applicant and the development, so it has a negative, it doesn't have an impact on physical.
Okay, we can, the location of the fence will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions of the neighborhood. Anything else? Fifth, the alleged difficulty is self-created.
I would actually, on
Go
that
ahead.
one, argue that it's not self-created because they've lived there for 10 years with no need for a fence. It was only because of the actions and the design by others that is creating the need for the variance, would be my position for that.
Putting a fence in is creating it. So it's not, oftentimes I think when you look at a variance in the fifth criteria, it's pretty well established in case law. So just that in of itself, once an applicant says, I want to put something there, it's a self-created situation, but it's almost rarely that the law says that that alone by itself is fatal to granting of the area variance.
No, I understand that I'm still in favor of the variance with that, even if we determine it is self-created. I'm just saying, I feel in this specific instance, this would be one of the rare instances where you could say it's not self-created because it was only because of the actions by others that is causing the need for a fence. That was just.
All right, Leah, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree 100%. with
Okay.
what Matt said.
Larry?
I agree with the chairman.
Okay. Chris? We got to,
It's me.
it's a, I am,
I see
I'm
where you're
not going to go
coming
to the
from.
mat with it,
Yeah,
It's-
no,
yeah.
and like I said, I'm in favor, regardless of how we decide this specific criteria, I'm in favor of the variance. I just thought putting on record, the rare instance, because I know pretty much everything we say, it is self-created, trying to state a specific instance where it may not be, could help with like other discussions down the line.
But it's self-created because they want to put a fence in.
Right.
I
right.
understand that position.
There's,
Yeah.
there's the pieces that we have for the first, especially the first three, the whole reason why the fence is going in there in the first place is because of, through little to no control of the applicant, vegetation was removed. It's, the applicant isn't really saying, is that, gee, I'm completely opposed to the entire development being over there. Well, that's not the case.
Yeah.
But what happened was, and the record is showing, that vegetation was taken down, she doesn't have any control over it, and she wants to put an up 8-foot fence so that she can regain the privacy that she once had or once thought she was going to have with the vegetation being there.
I'm
All right,
good with either way the board,
Yeah.
with however the board decides it, I'm fine with that. It's not a hill
Okay.
I'm dying on either.
okay, all right, good. All right, anything else we want to add, comment? We're good?
The board just may want to consider a condition limiting the 8-foot height to, being parallel with the rear property line or a certain linear footage of fence so that the resolution isn't vague, so that not necessarily Ms. Hogan, but a future property owner can't do the entire backyard with an 8-foot fence.
Well, we have the
Then it-
location of the fence. We have an 8-foot high fence, it being on or about the property line.
Guess my,
Here's the work,
and it's 144 feet. I guess my question
Yeah.
for the applicant would be, for the 144, do you know that is the length you're doing, or is there a chance you may go out there and say, oh, it's going to be 150 feet in length or something?
This would be
Because I
my
agree with what Adam said for a condition.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to do a
And-
length or just the rear property line.
So let me say two things. One, I've had 3 landscapers out who've all measured the distance where I want it. They've all 3 said 145 feet. One of them said, well, when we put it in, it might be 146, but the intent is 145 feet. And I'm happy if you want to add something that says I'm not going to add
Yeah.
8-foot fences on each side of me. There's no need to do that. I don't want to do that. So knock yourselves out, I guess.
Your application is for an 8-foot fence to the, hold on, let's get a compass direction.
Yeah, I mean, I drew the fence on the survey, and you can see it's on the,
So your proposal is for an 8-foot fence on the east side of your property, on or about the property line, and for 144 linear feet of fence.
correct. And actually, that distance along the back there is closer to 200 feet. But when you go to the right, there's not any townhouses or any reason for me to go that extra distance. And, you can imagine the price of this fence is not cheap. So I am trying to put it on the rear to block what I want to block, but not be ridiculous about it.
Does that pin it down for you, Adam, or do you want something more specific to how
No,
long the fence is, where the fence is going, how close is to the property line?
The distance to the property line, I don't think is relevant as long as it's compliant. Something that says it's along only the rear property line or only a linear amount of feet.
How would we say just along the east property line? And then that would limit it to the east and then would give you some flexibility.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to grant the variance for 144 and you get out there, it's like, oh, we got to add another 6 feet, but then
Right.
back here.
Right. My only concern would be, there's a big tree, and I'm going to start the fence to the right of the tree and then run 145 feet, and then there's going to be another, 30, 40 feet of no fence. And the fence people have said, until we actually stake it out, it could be a little bit different. We're not talking about hundreds of feet here, I would agree, Matt.
145 feet, do it.
We believe so, but until they come out and actually dig and lay everything out, I mean, they could be off by 4 or 5 feet.
Could we do up to
And that's,
100?
then that, hold on, I'm getting there. So the problem is, if you're short, or you need more, 5 feet, you've just violated the code again.
Okay?
So while we're here, if it's 150 feet and it turns out to be you only needed 146, then less is better
Yeah.
than shoot
Okay.
first and ask questions later.
I understand, and when I had them quote a price to me, I had them quote 150 feet just for that reason, to give myself a little flexibility if we got in there and we found, oh, we can't put a post here, we need to move it 2 more feet.
So Larry, are you okay with 150 feet as opposed to 144?
Could we go to 160? I mean, I hate to do that, but I'm not hearing a lot of confidence that you're actually
Well,
good at 150. I'm trying to give you more leeway.
no, and I appreciate that. The important thing to me was I tried to make it as realistic as I could so that you would say, gee, she's thinking about everything, she's thinking about her neighbors, we want to approve this.
yeah, absolutely, but I
But
just, you know,
160 would be phenomenal. I'll tell you, it's not going to be 160 because of the price of this thing. Every foot.
Well, we don't
is-
want you, well, we
At
don't
the
want you to,
max.
you know,
You're looking for a max of 160?
Yes.
Maximum of 160, Leah?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Maximum of 160, we're just looking for a yes or no. Yep. yep.
Okay, great.
Okay.
I mean, that's phenomenal. Thank
So
you.
If you're 145, you don't, that's
Right.
better. And you have a 200-foot eastern property line,
That's good.
enough, okay. So let's, wherever the minutes are, we're going to put in a 160-foot maximum fence on the eastern portion of the applicant's lot line, and the fence is going to be on or about the property line within a foot? Okay,
It'll be on my side.
okay.
I'll make sure that we are on my side. That's why I said it could be 2.
You're not on the microphone, we can't hear you, but that's okay. Unless, if you want to add that, that's fine, I think we got it. Adam, you're good with that, in the resolution, the length, the location? Larry, everything's good before we vote? Leah, you're good? Matt, we're good? Chris, okay, let's vote. All right, all in favor?
how about move to approve?
Oh, I thought I did that already. All right, let's do that. Motion to approve. Thank you, Larry. Is that you? You're gonna,
Yeah, I'm moving to approve,
thank
yes.
you, a second?
I'll second.
Thank
Oh,
you, Chris. No, that's good. Let Chris chime in. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Carried. Thanks so much for your patience and time and your presentation.
May I say something to the neighbor?
Sure.
Whatever you asked us to do, we don't do. Okay, so if you want to have someone look at the rest of that, you have to contact.
Planning department is
Planning
probably, some
department.
of those questions you were asking is best for the planning department to figure out who did what, on when, and
I just didn't want you to leave here thinking that you'd asked somebody. We don't handle any of that.
And I just want to thank the board for approving this. And also, I feel bad that you had to come in just for this, but
No, no.
That's what we do.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
That's
We're
fine.
signed up
So-
for.
I know, but
Okay.
we're all busy people.
Good
So,
luck with your fence.
so what happens next? I mean, do I need to get a permit now, or what happens?
Yep, so I have your permit application, but because it sounds like you're still pinning down, the application for the building permit has to be accurate. So
Okay.
if, once you have your exact, just bring in either the contract from the contractor with the proposed location and length.
Yeah.
We'll add it to your application folder, and then we'll approve the building permit.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
Yep.
I mean, they were waiting for me to see whether this was going to be approved.
Sure.
So I'll be emailing them tonight with good news, and then I'm sure they'll be out and we can take the next step.
very good.
Okay, good. Thanks so much. Have a good night. Did you have something you wanted to talk about, or are you just watching?
No, I'm Brian Bartlick.
Oh, Brian, how are you?
That's okay.
Very good. We can talk after if you like.
I just want to, thanks for entertaining that. So what I found was, there are exhibits sometimes that don't make it into the folder, the permanent record folder, and what we do always tend to have is a resolution. And I've found resolutions that are so vague that a person could, it may not specify the size of a shed, that they gave an area variance to be forward to the front line of the home, and now they could build a warehouse essentially without coming back to the
Nope,
zoning
it's all
board. So
good.
it's good to get a little couple details in there, and, like in this example, should that 8-foot fence be allowed anywhere a fence is permitted, it may then have an impact to, the residents, so.
Thank you for pointing
Thank
it
you.
out.
All right, very good.
Move to adjourn?
Yes.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Have a good night. Good to see you. Maybe.